So enchilada casserole is just one of those dishes that's so versatile. There's so many different ways you can make it, but this is my way. I'm excited to share with y'all. Okay, so I've started with 2 pounds of lean ground beef, okay, and I've cooked it just till it's about 3/4 of the way done because I like to take the extra grease off of it, okay. Into that, I'm gonna add 1 onion chopped. I'm gonna add 1 package of taco seasoning, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, just because I like a little extra with it just besides the taco seasoning, and 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, and then I'm going to add a little salt and pepper, just to your liking. Okay, so I'm going to let this finish cooking until the meat is done and the onions are translucent. Okay, so now that the meat is done and the onions are translucent, we're going to add in 1 can of ranch style beans drained. And I use ranch style beans instead of pinto beans because to me it just has more flavor. And then 1 7-ounce can of green chili, diced. Okay, and I'm going to get this mixed up. And this is what we're going to use for the meat mixture of the casserole. So I'm going to just cook this just until the beans heat, and then I'll show you how we put the casserole together. Okay, now we're ready to assemble it. Okay, so I have 2 cans of red enchilada sauce, and I like to pour a little bit of the enchilada sauce on the bottom of the pan because now even though I've greased the pan, it just kind of helps the enchiladas from sticking. And I also like to use tostadas. Okay, instead of the regular corn tortillas. There was one time that I didn't have them, and then I just happened to have tostadas on hand, so that's what I used. And it turns out that that's what I use all the time now. So I've done a layer of tostadas, and then I'm gonna put about half of the hamburger mixture for the first layer. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm gonna cover that with enchilada sauce, the rest of the can. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some cheese. Okay, so for the second layer of the enchilada casserole, I like to take 1 can of cream of chicken, okay, 1 can of Rotel drained, and 1 teaspoon of chili powder. It just kind of breaks up the layers, and I think it just adds a little extra to it. Okay, so we're gonna get that mixed up. I've added garlic salt to this layer before and it just came out too salty, so don't do that. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of go the opposite way, I think. Okay, the opposite way that I had laid them out originally. Okay, and then I'm gonna cover that with this mix. And this really just adds a lot of flavor to your casserole. Oops. Okay, and then we're gonna put a layer of cheese. Okay, now we're on the home stretch. So, another layer of tostadas. And you're probably gonna need about 12 to 14 or so. I've done this before with tortilla chips when I didn't have the tostadas on hand. But really, you can just use any type of tortilla, but the tostadas just gives it, to me, a little extra crunch. Okay, so we're gonna cover the top layer with the meat mixture. And as this cooks, it will kind of settle in and shrink down a little bit. Okay, so then we're gonna top that with enchilada sauce. I've done this before with the green enchilada sauce and used chicken, and that was really, really good too. Okay. Then we're gonna top that with cheese. Okay, I'm gonna get this in the oven and bake it at 350, I would say for about 30 minutes or until it's golden bubbly. Okay, so it's ready. And any time that I make casseroles, when I pull them out of the oven, I like to let them at least sit 15 minutes or so, because if not, or at least in my experience, the casserole will just fall apart if you don't let it sit. Okay. This smells so good. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anytime I have this casserole, I like to serve it with a little sour cream, a little cilantro, and then a little jalapeno, and I like to squeeze a little lime over it. Don't skip that part, that's the best part. Okay, let me show y'all. Okay, let's try it. Girl, that was so good. This casserole is good any time of the year. So if you want it for like summer, if you're gonna feed a large crowd during the summer for Mexican night, this is really great. Also, like if you just want something warm and cozy and comforting, this is your dish. So this is my recipe for my enchilada casserole. I'm so excited for you to try it. Let me know how you love it in the comments.